Rise and shine, sleep talkers. Welcome back. It's 31 degrees Celsius outside, so put on those trunks, lower your black glasses, and get ready, because it's time for some grand finals. It is about to rain, though, so I hope that rain doesn't affect the match somehow. What? Anyways, I'm asking you all just to leave a like and subscribe, because it doesn't cost anything, first of all. And, well, second of all, it's just not so much for me as for giving more people an opportunity to see what's going on in the GSC tournament scene, even outside of Smogon. So anyway, we have our match here, and there is Fong versus the Pirate 99. Just before I get to that, I just want to say that I made a spreadsheet in case you guys are interested at looking at any of the other matches. I've covered all of the weeks, and I hope to get some stats soon on item usage in this tournament, as soon as I manage to cover most of what has been used. Anyway, Fong and the Pirate 99. Well, neither of these two players need a presentation or an introduction, but they definitely deserve one. If you've been following the tournament series on YouTube, then, well, you've already seen them play. Fong had to play more games to make it to grand finals, and now he's here on the loser's side of the bracket, whereas the Pirate 99 is on the winner's side. He may be the favored one, but Fong is definitely no slouch when it comes to this type of tournament setting. They've already met before in other tournaments outside of this one, like a team tournament or a Premier League, the Smogon Premier League, which Fong ended up actually winning. And they played this match, which lasted about 1,000 turns, and the tournament organizers, well, they forcibly ended that match and left it with a tie. I guess you don't really consider it a tie because then they were forced to replay the match. But that just goes to show you that these two are so capable in playing GSC in the way it was intended to be. I'm not saying that everything is stalled, but they definitely can pull it off. And they're able to do it at a capacity that can bend the fabrics of space-time itself, which was the reason why the tournament organizers were worried in the first place. But, pardon me, here we have, an interesting set of teams. And these two players also faced off in round 2 of the tournament on the winner's side, where the Pirate 99 managed to send Fong to the loser's bracket. So far, the Pirate 99 has not lost a single set. That's why he is on the winner's side. And interestingly enough, Fong was running something very different, like a no-electric team, and a lot of Marowak all throughout the tournament. But now he's going with something a little bit more unconventional, and not exactly what you would expect from an Item Clause tournament. Although I don't know what to expect after all the matches that I've seen, and all the Venusaurs and Porygon 2s, just like this one here. So it's highly likely, I'm going to say like with a 99.9% chance, almost negligible percentage of failure, that if you see a core like this, it's a baton pass team. So Smeargle and Jolteon are the two that give it away. While Umbreon definitely is a baton pass user, the nature of how it works is different. It's used to gain momentum in a way that Jolteon, for example, might not be capable, because it can take a hit or two and pass, but that's just about it. Whereas Jolteon can pass a stat to the likes of a Marowak, a Snorlax, or even a Quagsire, which can then set up and in one turn get ready to sweep the team, or at the very least take down one or two Pokemon. So, formidable strategy. Sometimes it has consistency issues. Generally because in Gen 2, lots of Pokemon have phasers. lots of teams have phasers. So the Pirate 99's team doesn't look like it has one initially. You'd normally expect, a Raikou, Skarmory at the very least, or Tyranitar even, and Rhydon. But this time round, you should put your money on that Zapdos there, which looks like it could just be a Rest Talker, and you wouldn't be wrong to think that, but with no other phaser and a team that doesn't have the strongest answers to a Curse Lax in general, you want at least something to ward off the setuppers. The setuppers? The setup sweepers. So that Zapdos is probably running Whirlwind and not Magnet. We've seen in a previous match how the Pirate 99 was using Mint Berry on a Sleep Talk Zapdos. So as an item, that's definitely a very viable option here. And Leftovers is most likely on Snorlax. So then we have that solid Spikes control core with a spin blocker, potentially 2 spinners and among those 1 spike setter. So very solid and with a normal resist at that. So that's pretty good. Porygon 2, on the other hand, is kind of quirky because it's a normal type like Snorlax, but it has access to Recover. And Recover's really strong, especially in Item Clause, because when it uses Recover, not only is it a move that gives you back 50% HP in 1 turn with no drawbacks, but the opponent isn't going to recover HP over time necessarily. Like, you're not granting the opponent with the opportunity to passively regain HP as it tries to hit you or do something while you're trying to just, gain your footing again. So Porygon 2 is interesting like that. Also, it's a pretty reliable Curse user and can run Ice Beam pretty well because it has relatively high special attack and T-Bolt or T-Wave. So on this end here, I haven't said anything about the Vaporeon, and the reason is because I'm not exactly sure what Vaporeon does in this team. Like, is it Acid Armor? That would make sense, I guess. It could be Acid Armor. Could be just the Growth Rest Talk, but generally Baton Pass teams don't rely on being able to stay in all that much on anything. They have to just find those 2 or 3 openings. Also, Item Clause means that without that many Pokemon having leftovers, you don't necessarily have to bank on spikes as a strategy so much. And the spikes themselves don't even do so much for the team as long as you're pulling off a consistent enough strategy, because at the end of the day, these Pokemon are going to die pretty quick anyways without that passive recovery and leftovers. So they're not going to be gaining any HP on the turns in which either the Pirate 99 or Fong will be switching out. So with that said, I say we go into Game 1. Also, I didn't mention all of the strategies here, but that's because it's interesting to see things as they play out. Cue the music. Also, I'm just going to make sure that the audio is working. Yes, wonderful. Cool. Let's get into Game 1 then. In case you guys aren't familiar, if Fong wins this best of 3, I don't like to make a best of 5 of GSC, then he'd have to challenge the Pirate 99 to another match, another best of 3, just to win the tournament, because he's on the loser side and he already lost his side. So, without further ado, here we are. Now, Fong leads with Umbreon, and I think that this is extremely interesting. Umbreon, not Fong. Umbreon outspeeds Porygon 2. So that's another interesting concept in and of itself, because that would mean that Porygon can't exactly attack or without perhaps suffering some repercussions. In any case, what this suggests is that the Umbreon is very, very, very likely a Mean Look and Baton Pass set. so as to trap something. It's not a pursuit user. But, the presence of a dark type can sometimes suggest that it's dark. It uses pursuit to catch ghosts, and therefore Snorlax would be Monolax, like 90% of the time. It's not always the case, but anyway. So, as a response, just as I mentioned, Zapdos comes in. Why? Because it's the only thing that can, counter this type of strategy of trapping something, which is pulled off by Umbreon. So he manages to whirlwind out the Umbreon even through the confusion and switches back into Porygon 2 here. And shoutouts to James Joyce, because Fong decided to make a reference to one of James Joyce's characters in one of his novels, so that's pretty cool. Sorry, I just inhaled a lot of paprika at lunch today. Anyway, so the Pirate 99 settles on laying down some... right here, yeah, right here. Okay, so he does it here, and I already watched this set, but now the Fortress is trapped, and Stephen Daedalus, aka Smeargle, will be able to put the Fortress to sleep, and then take, or just use Substitute, that works too, and set up something. Either Belly Drum, because it would be in range, or Agility. Agility makes sense. Unfortunately for the Pirate 99, Giga Drain misses all the time on a Substitute in Generation 2. So he's left with only one option here. He can, I don't know, risk it all and potentially get swept by what looks like a Belly Drum Snorlax, because Fom can just pass to that and get his entire team swept in like 2 turns. Or he can explode right here, and he goes for the explosion. Why? Because that breaks the Substitute. That means that Jolteon will not, be able to freely do as it pleases. Like, it can pass, but now it comes at the cost of whatever Mon Fong decides to pass to, losing HP. So the Pirate 99 takes advantage of this. He brings in his Snorlax. It's a fairly decent answer to Electrics. Throws out a return. So are we to expect a Belly Drum on his end as well? We'll have to find out. So Zapdos comes in again, as is expected. Umbreon uses Confuse Ray, because if Zapdos fails to Whirlwind it out, then, potentially there would be a chance of Fong being able to actually, counter the team and then end up setting up early. So, unfortunately for him, it's not really working out as planned, and I don't think it's an entirely consistent strategy, if I say so myself. So the Snorlax comes in response to the other Snorlax, and it doesn't have Miracle Berry, as we saw that Stephen Daedalus was running Miracle Berry, and it might not be running lefties, because Jolteon's running leftovers. So the Gengar comes in, it basically dodges a double edge, and it manages to land a dynamic punch on Snorlax here, dealing a pretty hefty amount of damage, especially with the spikes up. For some reason, I guess the Pirate 99 didn't have neither Destiny Bond nor Explosion. I never really ended up asking him why he didn't go for Boom there, especially since there's no normal resist on Fong's team. Other interesting concept in and of itself. So he brings in his Starmie, probably throwing out a Para or just hitting with Hydro Pump. I guess that makes sense, because it could be potentially in range of some 2-hit KO. Fong switches out, so that could suggest that the Snorlax might not actually be running Rest. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't want to take too many chances. So he brings in his Jolteon here, takes a hefty amount of damage. He, in turn, deals the same percent, 40%, to a Snorlax, nonetheless. Manages to pass, and he's going to sack the Smeargle here. Makes sense. It's not really able to pull much off at this point of the game. Notice that with a baton pass team, late game arrives a lot earlier. So Umbreon trying to pull off the same strategy as before. Mean Look, Confuse Ray, Zapdos this time does hit itself, and now it's going for a Sand attack, just to decrease the accuracy of any Thunder. So Starmie can come in almost for free here, and he throws out an Ice Beam, just to get maybe a freeze, maybe make something happen. Now, Fong doesn't have anything to sacrifice, so it brings in Vaporeon. Are we going to see an Acid Armor? No. He throws out a Surf. Makes sense. You know, you want to damage that Zapdos as much as possible, because Jolteon is not going to come in on it every day. Every turn. So, especially with Spikes down. Now, Jolteon is left with the option to, continue attacking Snorlax and, okay, die, or, Baton Pass again, but what do you pass to? So that's one of the reasons why you don't even necessarily need a phaser. Like, the phaser is just to shut off the passing shenanigans, but then you don't even need all too much on your team to, like, invest your efforts against this kind of strategy. Uh-oh. Oh no. There's a freeze. My screen froze. I'm gonna have to... Oh god, come on. Okay. Jeez, I was so scared that everything just... I was gonna have to record this all over again for the 10th time. I shit you not. So, yeah, I don't remember what happened, but so Fong brings in his Starmie, and that's what's forced the switch out. The other Starmie isn't slower or anything, but it looks like it might only be running Hydro Pump and perhaps Spin and some recovery move, and no T-Bolt here. So he reveals Thunderbolt and Surf and Ice Beam. So it doesn't look like it's just going to be your, like a spinning Starmie. It could have Recover. It could have another move. It could even have Rain Dance. That would be interesting. So, wink, wink. Starmie here throws out a Surf. Throws out a Surf, and there it goes. So it manages to set up Rain Dance. Interesting choice of moves, especially since with Rain, Thunder would never miss. So I don't know why Starmie didn't have Thunder there. I guess if you just want to be consistent with your T-Bolts and, have it hit even when you don't have that opening with Rain Dance, that's fine. So Surf is boosted and it deals a lot of damage. Starmie gets a freeze on Snorlax. This can be the game here. No. Snorlax manages to thaw out on the same turn, but on the end of the turn, because in later generations you can thaw out, and you get a 10% chance to thaw out and then use a move. But in GSC that doesn't happen. You only get the thaw chance at the end of the turn. So it was kind of unlucky for Fong here. It also means that if he would have, the Pirate 99 would have had this opportunity to technically switch the Snorlax in on attack. Let's say it had 50 HP still or something like that, 50%. It would survive. It could survive an attack and then thaw out, even though it was just switched in. It doesn't have to do anything for that thaw. So it's adds insult to injury, the fact that you don't even have to commit. So the Starmie dies, and that was his best answer to Zapdos here. That's too bad. Barring a crit, he won't be able to win at this point, especially since Vaporeon is not recovering passively. It doesn't have Blizzard or any weird moves like that. So yeah, no, the Vaporeon's dead. Snorlax, as I mentioned already, probably doesn't have Rest, but if it does, that would be huge because the Zapdos missed Thunder, and each Hidden Power doesn't even KO. No, okay, so Snorlax, so Fong sacrifices the Snorlax to double-edge recoil. What a way to go. Generation 2, Game 2, I don't know why I said Generation 2. We know that already. And here's team number 2. So This looks a little bit more to friend of Mr. Golem's playstyle. Like, he's really good when it comes to spikes control. Um, so good on him for choosing this team. I'll add that beyond the things I mentioned before, like spinners, spin blockers, and spike setters, you also have a mon that could potentially pursue other spinners like an Umbreon. So Umbreon is gonna like it may have a lot going for it right now. On the other hand, the Pirate 99's team seems, again, something more along the lines of balance, like offense, and with a Rhydon this time, and a very disruptive Pokemon in Dragonite. Dragonite likes to, run T-Wave. So, leads off with Zapdos. I'm not favoring anyone here. These guys are both pals. So, wow. Okay, so Porygon crits. Every time I see this, it's incredible. So Porygon crits the first Ice Beam. I don't even think it 2-hit KOs. But, yeah, no, it doesn't. And the first Ice Beam crits, so it's in range of just one more Ice Beam here. So Zapdos would have to, use Rest, which seems like the right thing to do. Like, why not stay in and use Rest here? But Porygon 2 has Quick Claw and manages to beat out the Zapdos with its meager 218 speed. Fuck. Cloyster comes in and outspeeds the Porygon, lays down the spike, so he gets the spike, so there's at least that. But instead of trying to block the spin, because he doesn't want his Gengar to get, ruined so early by any sort of T-Wave, Snorlax comes in. Good choice, So he sets up the curse. There isn't really much to answer this, like a potential curse EQ set. And in fact, the Pirate 99 tries to predict and bring in his Rhydon. But now the luck is on Fong's side, and Fong manages to crit Oko at +1, a Rhydon. So now they're both 5-5. And this looks like a charm set, so very defensively invested. Unfortunately, no answers to the likes of Machamp, but there's no Machamp on this team, so good on him. So now Umbreon is it has the chance to use Mean Look, but he doesn't want to take any risks because I don't know. It's a substitute, so that's already risky in and of itself. The Snorlax hasn't revealed any Earthquake yet or something like that, but the risk of trapping the Snorlax and then using Charm would be that the Snorlax can use Belly Drum. And at that point, you're basically sacrificing something, 1, even 2 Mons. And that's the interesting thing about teams like Baton Pass and Belly Drum in general, that use Belly Drum laps. So the Pirate 99 brings in his Dragonite. I think he dodged an Earthquake. No, he didn't. And he threw a Dynamic Punch at an already paralyzed Snorlax, so that's like hacks stacking upon hacks. Fong doesn't want any of it, so he brings in his Gengar and doubles back into Lax. Good call out, so he reveals Thunder Wave on Dragonite. So, Disruptor, I already told you. It can be more annoying than Gengar sometimes. Especially with that Spike's immunity and pretty decent bulk, if I say so myself. Pirate 99 has not yet revealed any move in Curse, so maybe it's also running T-Wave here, because there's also Ice Beam. He's just trying to chip the Snorlax, put it in some sort of range. Fong has to take some backfooting, because if he attacks, it would be in range of another hit, probably. So he goes to Rest. Pirate 99 predicts that, brings in a Raikou, roars it out. Umbreon comes in, eats a Thunder, and now he passes, so he's just trying to gain some momentum here. The Raikou is trapped, and so Golem explodes because Raikou could have had HP Water, although I'm not sure. I'm sure that Fong would probably have an idea of what hidden power that might have been. He's more experienced than me, but it's either HP water or ice at the end of the day. And sometimes the damage calcs don't really give you enough info to actually see the difference. Why am I saying what I'm saying? It's because hidden power, water, requires lowered HP DVs. So if I hit a Raikou with HP water, it could die sooner. And it also takes more percent. If you run that in the calc, then you find out what move it has. But that's as deep as GSC gets when it comes to DVing. So he booms there, and that's because he isn't able to actually OHKO the Raikou with Earthquake, sadly. Too bad, I guess. So Snorlax versus Snorlax. One's asleep, and the other one's at +1. It also has sub, so that's kind of interesting. So Gengar comes in, and that makes sense. He runs a Destiny Bond for safety in case the Snorlax actually has EQ. At +1, Snorlax EQ OHKOs Gengar. So Gengar actually manages to trap the Snorlax. There's still no EQ being thrown out, so he throws. So he uses Destiny Bond again, and finally the Pirate 99 reveals a Fire Blast. So we're yet to see. Oh wow! Okay, so Perish Song, and the Snorlax is trapped. It seems like the most formidable Mon until you have a ghost that's as fast as Gengar trapping you and using Protect and Perish Song. So now it's just a countdown, and it's on the onus of Fong to decide whether or not he wants to switch out on the last turn. But Snorlax is trapped, so it's dead. It's kind of satisfying to see sometimes, seeing the King of GSC just there. So Fong might find an opening with this Cloyster. He could boom here, maybe. I don't think he wants to lay spikes anymore, but on him. So he brings in his Snorlax. Also, the Cloyster has Ice Beam, so that's a further challenge, further threat to the Dragonite. So Snorlax is here, and it's stomaching the Ice Beams fairly well. Pirate 99 is deciding to use Ice Beam not only to fish for a freeze, but also because over time the setting up of Snorlax means it becomes more resistant on the physical side. So Dragonite also has Ice Beam, as if we haven't seen enough of these. So Snorlax is resting up, takes a crit in the face when asleep as well. Curse EQ doesn't like to take hits every day, and it can't. So that's why it has to keep on resetting and using rest. At least the Snorlax here has +2 defense, but then it gets hit by itself from confusion. Then it takes an Ice Beam, then it gets hit by itself from confusion because fuck life, and pardon me and my bad mouth. So Snorlax is in range of a Thunder here. So Fong has to sacrifice the Cloyster. This is looking bad. If the Pirate 99 wins out this match, which it looks like is likely to happen, then he'll win the tournament. So he has to win a series of exchanges by just stalling with Umbreon and finding the right opportunity to bring that Snorlax in and maybe recover and pull off a rest, but it's paralyzed, so there's also a chance at being haxed. Both of his mons are... Oh, no, it's not paralyzed. But Umbreon is paralyzed and confused. Somehow, by some miracle, it's dodging thunders here and there. Oh my god, my throat. Pardon me, class. So this Dragonite is being annoying as ever, and it's probably saving that last Dynamic Punch just to hit Snorlax if it does get a rest. Also, if the Snorlax manages to rest, chances are that Fong wins the match. So it's what you would call a very close game here, even if it seems pretty one-sided. So Umbreon is using Charm. Charm has superior PP, and he could probably mean look as much as he likes as well. He can't really baton pass whenever he likes, but he is slower because of the paralysis, so he can baton pass the Snorlax as soon as he thinks that it's the right opportunity. The Dragonite ran out of Thunders, so that's good for her Fawn, that's for sure. So he can pass now whenever he thinks it's the right moment. Since it's slower, again, Snorlax can come in and not be hurt by anything. So it's recovered some HP. And Dragonite throws an Ice Beam out, and Umbreon dodges a 100% accuracy move. That means that it's running Bright Powder. So it looks like it was pretty successful at surviving against Dragonite, but now the test is, well, surviving or at least sacrificing yourself to the Starmie, sacrificing the Umbreon. Oh, what a way to end the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, the Starmie crit the Snorlax with Surf, dealing more than enough to KO it at 30%. And that is, well, that settles it. So the Pirate 99, congratulations on winning the Item Clause tournament. Congrats also to Fong for playing so well. Unfortunately, he did not manage to defeat the only person perhaps in the way of his path. I mean, let's say that it was a very, very solid run. Fong had to face a lot of people in tournament, and he did such a good job. I'm just going to stop the music now. He won 2-1 after 2-1, and the only person he 2-0'd was me. So he did really, really, really well. And it was a nail biter, a series of nail biters if you had seen the other sets already. But I also have to say that he was on another level, and that's why I say that the Pirate 99 managed to, well, you know, is testament to the fact that Fong is very, very good. And congrats to all of the players that participated and did very well. Thank you also for watching. Shoutouts to Belzamon2003, who is the essentially the tier leader of Item Clause Generations 1 and 2. He's specialized also in Pokemon Stadium, so you can give him a shout out on Snowcon, you know, like a pat on the back. I wouldn't have been able to organize this tournament without him. So, thank you all. Enjoy your summer, and check out the spreadsheets.